Hello world. If you were to move to a typical neighborhood in Tokyo, what would it be like? How would you get around? What would you see and do? Today I'll take you around Shinkoiwa Station, which I recently found out is the busiest train station in Katsushika Ward with 154,000 daily passengers.
Shinkoiwa. Am I right? Shinkoiwa.
To talk about neighborhoods, I feel like I have to first explain about Tokyo's wards. Katsushika is one of Tokyo's 23 wards, and each ward has its own mayor. It's these 23 special wards that many often think of as Tokyo City, although there really is no such thing.
Okay. समझ गया. It's like, you got it? It's like in India, हाँ, state then districts और हर एक district का अपना mayor है. Correct, smart.
There is, however, Tokyo Metropolis, which has a governor and is made up of the 23 special wards plus 26 cities, 5 towns, and 8 villages. There are 13 million people living in Tokyo Metropolis, and it has many different geographies. So while I am trying to show you a typical neighborhood, it's obviously not going to be exactly like other neighborhoods, which is why I find it fun to explore different parts of Tokyo and Japan.
भाई मैंने वीडियोस देखी हैं जापान की. Bangalore has 12 million. Typical life in Bangalore. मैंने वीडियोस देखी हैं जापान की, but bro, you know, the cleanliness over here is top notch.
And for clarity going forward, when I say Tokyo in this video, I'm talking about the 23 special wards. So today, I'll be showing you the area around Shinkoiwa Station. The majority of what you'll see can be found in other similar sized stations around Tokyo.
Transportation. Now you will relate to it. After you live in Bangalore.
Moving on, let's talk about how you move around. I think it's safe to say that Japan, and even more so Tokyo, is centered around train stations. Every time I go to meet someone, or go somewhere, directions always start from the train station. When you go to rent or buy a home, they always list the walking time to the closest train station. While I'm fairly sure the majority of people get to the train station by foot, there are those that get there by car, get there by bus, or get there by bike. Bikes are in fact so popular that the bigger stations
ट्रेन अगर कोई घर देखने जा रहा है रेंट के लिए तो लिखा है भाई कि इस ट्रेन स्टेशन से इतने टाइम की दूरी पे है. How do you even understand this map? हो जाता है, समझ में आ जाता है.
stations have dedicated bike parkades. When going up levels, there's a handy bike escalator you can use. This one's quite affordable. The cost is only 100 yen for the day. For people who commute daily, they can buy. The cost is only 100 yen for the day.
80 rupees per day. 80 rupees per day for the bicycles.
For people who commute daily, they can buy monthly passes, which will get them better spots. But equally as important, avoid the few seconds it takes to pay the attendant. For those arriving by vehicle, there's usually a bus stop or bus loop, plus a taxi stand. For the bigger stations, there can be multiple sides, so if you're meeting someone at a station, you might need to specify which exit you're at. For simple above-ground stations, it may be as easy as north or south. But for more complex underground stations, you may have so many choices that they start numbering and lettering them. Something that surprised me when I first moved to Tokyo is that workplaces pay commuting expenses. It's expected that an employee will commute by public transportation. So for many people, a car can be considered a luxury as opposed to a necessity. For example, among my 12 family members that live in Tokyo, only my father-in-law owns a car, which he mainly used to work at a farm in another prefecture. He's now retired, but still has the car. To generalize, if you're going to work, you're probably going to take the train or bus. And if you're going shopping for daily stuff, you'll walk or take a bike.
So if you're working in Japan, the company will pay you for your expenses for the, commuter and everything. Public transportation is so good. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's good too. But what surprises me a lot is that company will pay you for the transportation, and every worker will get the transportation expense. Even I don't know how much high or low salary he will get. Too good. Station life.
So train stations are often the hubs of Tokyo neighborhoods. It's also where you'll find the largest buildings and biggest shops. You can find basically anything you want here. Hungry? You have places to eat at, like restaurants, cafes, and izakayas, which are kind of like Japan's version of a pub. I especially enjoy establishments that only make one thing, like ramen or soba. Need something quickly? You'll find many convenience stores. They in fact serve a lot of functions, from paying your bills, to picking up your deliveries, to buying lunch on the go.
भाई ये ना एक मुझे समझ नहीं आता, किसी भी शादी में या फिर ये फूड व्लॉगिंग होती है कि ऐसा ना कैमरा ले लेके बिल्कुल ऐसे सामने, मतलब ऐसे घुसा देंगे भाई उसमें कि भाई तुम्हारे मुंह में ही चला गया, ये तुम्हारे मुंह में है, देखो अब खाना ऐसे जाने वाला है, अभी देखो ये जाने वाला है ऐसे, और कैमरा मतलब बिल्कुल ऐसे फूड के इतने पास लेंगे भाई। कुछ होते हैं जिनको सच में भूख लग जाती है, मत किया करो। इट्स अ रिक्वेस्ट, मत किया करो। नाउ आई अंडरस्टैंड व्हाई प्यूडीफाई वेंट टू जापान। हाँ भाई, प्यूडीफाई क्यों? अभी मैं देख रहा था, मैं आई एम नॉट लाइक into the Twitter a lot, but अभी काइडे और टेंस भी जाके आए थे जापान, and they really had so much fun.
A lot of people make YouTube videos about the food, but I'll have to do a video one day that shows the depth of everything that can be accomplished at a Japanese convenience store. Feeling bored? There are many indoor entertainment facilities like karaoke or karaoke boxes, and pachinko parlors, or places that are healthier like fitness centers. Any of your daily necessities
Yeah, offline TV also went last month. हाँ, I
can
knew.
be found near stations, like grocery stores for food and drugstores for cleaning supplies, toiletries, and over-the-counter drugs. You'll need to go to a pharmacy for your prescriptions.
और एक बात मैंने और देखी है, वो लास्ट टू द कॉम्पी। नाइस जरी, नाइस, बढ़िया। अभी लास्ट टू, हाँ बढ़िया। अभी वो देख रहे थे मैं और वरुण, लाइफ इन जापान, लाइफ इन द नेबरहुड। और मैं ये बात बोल रहा हूँ, मैंने एक चीज़ और देखी, मैंने एक रील देखी थी जिसमें शायद मेरे पास सेव्ड होगी, मैं बाद में देखूंगा अगर स्ट्रीम पे दिखाऊंगा या नहीं। एक बंदे ने ऐसे ना, मतलब वो एनिमे की वो दिखा रहे थे, मतलब कोई सीन था ना ऐसे जहाँ पे मतलब एनिमे का सीन चलता रहता है ऐसे, कार्टून, वो कार्टून क्या एनिमे ही था, तो ऐसे सीन चल रहा था, वो नीचे सीढ़ियाँ जा रही थी ऐसे, और एकदम ट्रांजिशन हुई रियल भाई, मतलब जो लोकेशन एनिमे में दिखा रहे थे ना, वो रियलिटी में जापान में है और सेम वैसी है। मतलब जो एनिमे में चीजें हो रही है ना, वो भाई इन रियलिटी है जापान में। अगर जैसे कोई सीढ़ियां से नीचे जा रही हैं, साइड में पेड़ है, इधर बैठने की जगह है, और ऐसे मतलब यहाँ पे स्टोर है, ऐसी सड़क है, डिट्टो डिट्टो भाई, डिट्टो, मतलब वैसे का वैसा ही है जापान। कुछ भी चेंज नहीं किया भाई, कुछ भी, इतना सा भी। यही मैं बात बोल रहा था कि भाई वो जैसे है ना, जापानीज लोग जैसे भी हैं, जैसे भी उनका कल्चर है, जैसे भी उनके दिखाने का मतलब वो है, तरीका है अपनी कंट्री को, वो एक जैसा ही है। अगर वो एनिमे में दिखा रहे हैं ना, तो सच में जापान वैसा ही है भाई। कोई ऐसा ये ना सोच ले कि हाँ एनिमे में इतना अच्छा अच्छा दिखाया हुआ है, और जापान जब लोग गए तो कह देंगे कि ये तो वैसा है नहीं। नहीं, गेम भाई बस बंद कर दिया, अब ऐसे ही थोड़ा सा कुछ टाइम के लिए खेलेंगे, बाकी कुछ कंटेंट कंज्यूम करेंगे डेली, कुछ अलग हो जाएगा यार।
Something that I enjoy about Japan are the specialty stores you can find that are usually owner-operated, like this place that only sells tofu. This one that only sells rice? Or this one that only sells tea?
ये बात कर रहा था मैं. अगर एनिमे में कोई ऐसे सीन आ रहा है ना, कोई एनिमे कैरेक्टर ऐसे चलता जा रहा है, तो भाई मतलब कार्टून बोल रहा हूँ, एनिमे. मैं कार्टून क्यों बोल रहा हूँ बार-बार यार. तो एनिमे में जैसे अगर कोई वो चलता जा रहा है ना कैरेक्टर, तो भाई जो वो ऐसे सड़कें होंगी भाई यहीं से लिए हैं वो. कुछ भी चेंज नहीं है. दिस रिमाइंड्स मी ऑफ डोरेमोन 100%. मैं दिमाग में भी वही सोच रहा था. सच में वरुण, मैं वही सोच रहा था अभी. सच में मैं वही सोच रहा था कि नोबिता वो ऐसे जाते हैं वो लेने ऐसे मार्केट में कुछ सामान लेने. सच में मैं वो सोच रहा था.
These can often be found in Shotengai, which can be literally translated as shopping street. Shotengai are groups of independent shops that have banded together to make a small shopping district. Shinkoiwa actually has several Shotengai. However, this covered arcade is the largest. I'd talk more about Shotengai, but that'll require another video. Bigger stations will have koban, which are small local police stations, or if we're translating directly, police boxes. They'll usually have some bikes, as in bicycles, parked outside. When my wife and I found a wallet on the street, this is where we went to return it. I can go on and on listing all the services you can access, but in a general sense, around the station, you can find everything you need for daily life. This is why you pretty much don't need to own a car if you're living in a typical Tokyo neighborhood. You can access everything by foot or bike. The latest stats reveal that there's less than Metropolis. But what about those big items, or when you have lots of items? Delivery service is excellent, sometimes even same day, and mostly free. You wouldn't need to rent a van or truck to pick up a bed, dispose of an old desk, or grab that new TV. These can all be picked up and delivered.
Everything is so clean, so well maintained. Zoning. Not even a single
the thing I
piece of
especially
dust
like about neighborhoods
or
in
anything.
Tokyo is that virtually everywhere has mixed-use zoning. What is mixed-use zoning, you ask? Or not? Mixed-use zoning means that the land can be used for a variety of purposes, from residential to commercial to civic to industrial. This is why in the same neighborhood, you can find a daycare right next to a shrine, which is right next to a house,
No portholes
which has a
also.
beauty shop on the bottom, which is next to a small warehouse, which is next to a park. You'll find all the services and facilities you need scattered throughout the neighborhood, from doctors, dentists, and hospitals, to community centers, senior care homes, and schools.
Really
Even
well designed.
waste-to-energy plants or pumping stations can be found within the neighborhood, complete with the parks that surround it. But zoning is another topic that I can and will make an entire video on. What's important to know is that when it comes to Tokyo, the lowest level of zoning you'll commonly find still allows for mixed use, multi-story apartment buildings, and for people to legally run small businesses out of their homes, whether it be a little shop selling goods or a little workshop making them. The crucial reason I think it's important to know about zoning is that without these laws, Tokyo, and indeed the whole of Japan, wouldn't be able to have such walkable and bikeable neighborhoods that don't require owning a car to live.
It's good. Safety.
What I overwhelmingly feel when walking about a neighborhood in Tokyo
Top
is a
notch.
sense of safety.
Zoning reminds me of City Skylines game. City Skylines. हाँ मतलब वैसे गेम्स भी होती हैं, काफी सारी होती हैं.
The best example I can think of is children. You see children everywhere. From the age of 6, when children enter elementary school, they learn how to walk home from school by themselves. You'll also see them running or riding around the neighborhood, meeting up with friends, like how I remember growing up in the 80s in Canada, or what my daughter and I see when watching Stranger Things. I mean the kids running around without adult supervision parts, not all the dangerous parts.
इसने ये बोलते टाइम पे स्ट्रेंजर थिंग्स के बच्चा दिखाया है। भाई वो फिक्शन है। वो वेब सीरीज है भाई। यहाँ वो बोल रहा है कि ठीक है, यूएस में कोई सुपरविजन नहीं है, बच्चे कहीं भी निकल रहे हैं। इंडिया में भाई इंडिया के बातें सुनाओ, स्कूल के नाम पे दूसरी स्टेट में निकल जाते हैं ब्रो। ये तो फिर भी अपनी सिटी में है। स्कूल के नाम पे सुबह यहाँ से निकलेंगे ना, हरियाणा वाले दिल्ली पहुंच जाते हैं और शाम को दोबारा आ जाएंगे अपने आप ही ऐसे घूम फिर के।
Why haven't the kids been locked up for their own safety? Why do I keep on asking questions that would require a dedicated video to properly answer them? I'll just name a few aspects that relate to the design of neighborhoods. Most streets are small and have a speed limit of 30 kilometers or 19 miles per hour. That's kind of slow.
Bangalore, Bangalore airport is 1 hour from the Bangalore. हाँ भाई, ये भी पढ़ा था मैंने।
Slow enough that kids can feel free to run around in the middle of the streets and do as they please. It's the cars that watch out for the kids, not the other way around. Of course, there are bigger streets where the speed limit is 50 kilometers or 31 miles per hour. These streets would typically have guard railings and traffic lights. So you'll also see kids walking along these streets as well, although on the side, not in the middle. If an area is close to a school zone, you'll find silver jinzai, which are seniors that work in the community that will be on crossing guard duty. You'll also see these silver jinzai at bicycle parking spots as well as at parks. For kids, they are familiar, trusted people that they can go to for help. For the neighborhood, they act as a kind of neighborhood watch. I would argue that the tightly packed homes and businesses, slow traffic, and walkable streets keep the areas busy enough that there's always someone around. These eyes on the street then make people feel safe, which is why it's not at all uncommon to see female high schoolers or office workers walking home alone at 9 or 10 in the evening, hours after the sun has set. Speaking of sunset, when it arrives, there's a special jingle that plays, which reminds kids they should be on their way home.
इतनी सेफ्टी
Are
है भाई।
Tokyo's neighborhoods completely safe and devoid of crime? No. For example, a shockingly high number of Japanese females I talked to have experienced groping while riding on the trains. On the other hand, in terms of petty theft and threat of assault, I feel confident that the rates are lower than in Canadian cities. I would roll out a bunch of stats, but because of reporting differences and underreporting, the best I feel comfortable saying is that in Tokyo, I have a much bigger feeling of safety in regards to my family and my possessions than I did when living in Vancouver or Winnipeg.
Hectic life, सेफ्टी तो है भाई।
Is it not hectic living in a typical Tokyo neighborhood? I think what a lot of people don't realize is that Tokyo is more a collection of neighborhoods than it is a megacity. You probably wouldn't know it from looking across it from one of its many towers, though. And even in the busiest of neighborhoods, there's usually some calmer spots, which you can find at parks, at shrines, at temples, and among many of the riverbanks. Although not this particular part of Naka River, where they operate one of the highways and a train line is crossing it. But hey, they do have a nice park right beside it, and behind it, public housing run by the Tokyo Metropolitan Government. And behind that, it's a 5-minute walk to the train station. However, I agree that this area is a bit hectic, which is why within a 10-minute walk from the station, you can find a river park like this.
यहाँ इंडिया में ना किसी के पास एक गाड़ी आ जाए ना, कितना भाई हवा में उड़ेगा वो बंदा, कितना ज़्यादा, मतलब गाड़ी उसके नीचे है, वो ऐसे जा रहा है, उसको कोई पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट लेने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, वो ठीक है। यहाँ पे सूट बूट में बंदे घूम रहे भाई ट्रेन स्टेशन में, और अपने यहाँ पे कोई लोकल ट्रेन में ऐसे मेट्रोज में ऐसे कोई सूट वाला कोई दिखे ना, उसकी लोग हंसी उड़ाएंगे कि भाई सूट पहन रहे हो और ये ट्रेन में ट्रेवल कर रहे हैं। लोकल ट्रेन में, या फिर ऐसे, मतलब कभी कभी के लिए ठीक है, ठीक है। बट अगर नॉर्मली लोग देखें ना कि हाँ डेली ही, मतलब काफ़ी सारे लोग सूट बूट में ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं इधर, मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम लोग एक बार के लिए जज कर लेते हैं। सभी नहीं करते, आई एग्री, सभी नहीं करते, बट कुछ कर लेते हैं कि भाई इतना बन ठन के, इतना अच्छा दिखने वाला सूट बूट में ट्रैवल कर रहा है, 3 पीस में, 2 पीस में, और इसके पास एक गाड़ी भी है, और जबकि ये कमा भी इतना अच्छा रहा है। यही तो
Which
डिफरेंस
is
है।
why within a 10-minute walk from the station, you can find a river park like this. Completely different atmosphere. In my Tokyo by Bike video, I highlighted many of the spots around Tokyo where you can find such greenways. Oh, and if you're looking for an indoor place to unwind, you can try going to the local bathhouse, the Sento. These local institutions are disappearing at an increasing rate. Even though you must be annoyed with me saying this, I filmed a day in the life of owning a Sento with Sakai-san, so look out for that video. There are so many aspects of Japanese life that I'll be digging deeper into, so if you want to make sure you'll see them, please subscribe to see those videos when they come out. So yes, even in busy Tokyo, you can get some relative peace. You're not going to find yourself completely alone in the wilderness, but maybe in certain areas, with the masses of people, you may feel that way.
हाँ, एंथनी सिंह, इट्स रियली गुड यार, इट्स रियली गुड। I'll give a like and subscribe. मजेदार लाइफ है यार ऐसी, मतलब उनको पता है भाई उनके लिए क्या नुकसानदायक है और क्या फायदेमंद। दे नो, दे नो इट वेरी वेल। And I've never seen a video of, two Japanese people fighting on the street. Like, तू कुत्ता भाई, तेरा खानदान कुत्ता, बे तेरा खानदान हरामी, ऊपर से बोला तेरा भाई सारी सिटी हरामी, अबे तेरे सारी स्टेट हरामी भाई। फिर तो बस पूछो मत, ऐसे उंगलियां उठा उठा के ना भाई, फिर थप्पड़ थप्पड़ हो जाते हैं। फिर कुछ साइड वाले पर्सनल ले लेते हैं, भाई तू मेरे को कैसे बोल रहा है, क्या भाई तेरे को कब बोला, भाई तूने बोला ना तेरी सिटी हरामी, मैं इसी सिटी से हूँ। अरे तेरे को नहीं, वो भी फिर उसके हाँ भाई तू मेरे साथ है, तू मेरा बाप, और इट्स ऑल मैस। ठीक है भाई, मजेदार लाइफ, काफी मजेदार लाइफ। मतलब ठीक है, ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि दूर के ढोल सुहाने, ठीक है, ऐसा भी हो सकता है। बट फॉर नाउ मुझे काफ़ी अच्छी लगी यार ये वीडियो। मुझे वो भी अच्छा लगा ये कि लाइक नेबरहुड्स में शाम को बच्चों के लिए एक मीठी सी वो लाइक साउंड प्ले होता है ताकि